A spiritual connection, a roadmap to UAP disclosure, catastrophic disclosure. Yeah, a lot happened this week at the Seoul Foundation Symposium. This event was led by serious academic researchers. There was intelligence officers there, colonels, people from the DoD. It was discussed as a matter of fact. No ifs and buts, but this is what is happening. As the full details of this conference has not been shared yet, the information I've retrieved has been drip-fed online through social media. So here are some of the people that shared this information. I've also included their details in the description. And apologies if I missed you out. I'm simply here today as a ventriloquist with this information, giving you a summarization of, in my opinion, some of the key takeaways. One of the main issues with the UFO UAP subject, which I think many of you can relate to, is the stigma attached to it. I've experienced it, the ridicule, the laughter. Are you a conspiracy theorist? For the last few years, this topic has been transgressing into a domain of seriousness with the support of academic and eyewitness reports, plus the confirmation of UAP programs by the US government. And although we still have a long way to go in terms of relaying this over to the public and the mainstream media, to have a conference of a serious nature and to be discussed at a level of professionalism is a great step forward. There was no jokes or laughter there. The message that I've been seeing online is that you could hear a pin drop. The topic of how we should engage with the public was also mentioned. Those not aware of the terminologies, the implications and what this means for them, questions such as how can disclosure be delivered in a manner to which people understand. The Schumer Amendment seems like the real deal. It has a strong backing force behind it and it has bipartisan acceptance by Congress, so they know what is at stake. It is an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act which will direct the National Archives and Records and administrations to generate a collection of records and data on UAPs and UFOs, which they must disclose immediately. Another thing to look at with this is how readily available these private defense companies and these aerospace companies would be able to just give over all this information at will, okay? I'm sure there's going to be some pushback with that, especially considering the years of misinformation, transforming narratives to suit their purposes. Another thing which was brought up by Jacques Vallee, I don't know if I've said that correct, was the issue around no information on the psychological aspects of the UFO, UAP encounters with their abductees. The amendment, you see, it focuses purely on the physical aspects of it, the biologics, the craft, but there's no talk around the psychological impact that an abductee or witnesses have. Jacques Vallee also made another very good point. There's obviously been a lot of time and investment from scientists and defense companies and private contract companies. Even though this has been done in secret, Congress just popping in there and taking all that information could be detrimental to the scientific community. Karl Nell also said the amendment is a way for us to avoid, he called it quote unquote, technological surprise, okay? Because we are apparently, anyway, not aware of the full implications of what these UAP craft and beings want or do. And us withholding onto that information and not disclosing it is not allowing us to take full control of the situation. He also mentioned that we are unaware how NHIS, which is non-human intelligences by the way, would react to us disclosing this information to the public. Right now, all the information around the UAP UFO subject is within governmental control. They can do whatever they want with this information. They can control the narrative. They can decide if they want to share or not share. The Seoul Foundation highlighted that this is going to change through civilian programs. The likes of Gary Nolan's Stardust Repository Program or the Avi Loeb Galileo project have leveled up so much that they can get this information just as effective as his government organizations and analyze it properly as well. And ultimately, we can only hope that the people who run this program have genuine intentions and want to share the truth. Obviously, there could be elements of misinformation applied to that, but you know, once again, we've got to cross each bridge as it comes. David Grusch, the infamous whistleblower and former UAP task member, popped on the Zoom call. He was a surprise guest there. And he said that we are about to embark on a spiritual journey. He thinks that no matter the initial shock, okay, this will unite humanity. And he also suggested that we consider our place within the universe. Now, the UAP UFO subject has had ties to religious and cult and consciousness areas for a long time now. Jacques Vallee was one of the first people that promoted this. But once again, although these ideas have been floating about for a long time, for them to be mentioned in such a manner, in a professional academic space, for them to be mentioned without people laughing or throwing little, huh, what the hell, or just looking at you strange, for me is another great step forward. But what does he mean by this? Well, we can only speculate, right? But maybe this will embark us to fully embrace our full potential, to realize that we are not it, but we are instead a part of something bigger, that the universe is a mysterious, untapped space, and consciousness is a force, a space that has not been fully tapped into, and it's not something that is created by the brain. It is something that is all around us. Maybe this is the route for us to awaken to this. Is that so wild to say? It might be. If you've got other theories, then let me know in the comments below. Jarius Victor Grove, who is a director of the Hawaii Research Center of Future Studies, had a section which really exposed how complicated disclosure is. Grove's segment highlighted how difficult the situation the government is actually in. He also speculated on the pros and cons of being the first country to fully disclose the UAP UFO subjects. They had done studies on the percentages of something catastrophic occurring, and although I do not have those numbers, what he said was still very revealing. Firstly, the results, he said, were not that great of being the first country to disclose. And then he mentioned something which I've never thought of before, how this impact could actually affect countries like China and Russia, as who knows, maybe they did not want to disclose the information yet. Another thing to mention is, as the power of these craft are still unknown, if we start using them, this could start a new arms race, a new weapons race, with countries experimenting with alien technology on a wide scale, as they may think that it's now okay to do this. So Groves made it very clear that we need to get grips with this, and we need to take control of it, and all the government entities need to work together to ensure that this is a controlled disclosure. Now, you may have seen this image floating about online. Someone grabbed it and converted it and made it look much more clearer. And just to mention, this roadmap for disclosure, it can change, it can transform. This is a speculative blueprint. As you can see, phase 1 begins next year, January 2024, and this is demonstrating existence. This could be why in an interview with Yes Theory, David Grusch did mention that 2024 will be crucial and a wild year in an exciting way. And I believe him and his intentions around this. So next year will be interesting to see if this comes to light. The roadmap seems to tie towards 2030 as when disclosure and acceptance would occur. And this number refers to the UAP Records Review Board, which is ultimately the deadline where the information should be shared. And the plan is for this to happen during that timeline, so this is a controlled disclosure and not a catastrophic disclosure. So through the means of the government entities, academic, research and public. So if we don't do this in a very thoughtful and outright manner, then the consequences can make this spin out of control and could destroy social order. And also with phase 5, I find that terminology of engagement very interesting. Like, what does that mean? Are we going to start connecting up with these beings? Are we going to join the Galactic Federation and make our contact official within the cosmos? Not sure, of course, speculation once again, but you know, to have a roadmap there, which as I said could transform and change, is really good to see, because it shows that something is being thought and planned out properly, and also this is going to happen. David Grusch, when he popped up on that Zoom call at the Soul Foundation conference, said that we are in a paradigm shift with the power in our hands to transform our world. And look, I'm not gonna lie, right? There's always gonna be an element of me being skeptical, and I think it's healthy, okay? We always have to just be open to the idea that this could be misinformation. This could be a psyops. Looking at the trajectory the last few years and looking at things like the Soul Foundation conference, the official US Congress hearing, and the amount of whistleblowers that are apparently coming forward, I have a lot of optimism in terms of where this is going to go. So right now, I think it's more a matter of not if, but when, and how to deliver this to the public to avoid social disorder. And that statement alone is ludicrous considering the nature and state of the UAP UFO sector even 10 to 15 years ago. Anyway, guys, that is a summarization. I might have missed some stuff out, as the full footage will be coming out in apparently a couple of weeks as recording this video. However, wanted to thank you if you're still here watching this video. As I said, my name is Laszlo. This is my channel, UFO World. My ask to you is, if you want to help grow this channel and in general help the awareness around the UFO subject, then please do like, subscribe, share, leave a comment so the YouTube algorithm actually thinks you like my video as well, which I'm sure you do. With that being said, have a lovely day, and I'll speak to everyone soon.